Hello, welcome to another edition of Issues with Jide. Here we talk about actions and inactions of those who shape our political and national landscape, and how all these impact us positively or otherwise. I'm Ibrahim Shita. Today on the show, Operation Stop Tinubu, Atiku, Peter Obi meet in Yola with 2027 in mind. In the course of the program, we take your questions, but first, subscribe to our YouTube channel and drop your questions in the comment section. It's important to mention that we can only read comments with human names and the ones based on the subject matter. I have joining me via Zoom, the maestro himself, Babajide Kolade-Otitoju. Good to see you this evening, BK.
Good evening. Good to do this with you again today.
Right.
Good evening, our viewers.
Interesting stuff. Right. So the 2023 elections revealed the fragmentation among opposition parties, which arguably contributed to Bola Tinubu's victory. But with Atiku and Peter Obi reportedly working on a potential merger for 2027, how crucial is this alliance in preventing a repeat of their fragmented campaigns in 2023 to start with?
Yes, I think that both Atiku and Peter Obi by now have thoroughly reviewed what they've come to the conclusion that some mistakes were made that if they had avoided, the outcome of that election would have been different. No doubt about it. If you tally the votes of the opposition, that's talking about Kwankwaso, Peter Obi, and Atiku, if you put their votes together, they will have defeated Tinubu with an audacious margin. But that was not what happened, because they decided to go their separate ways. PDP, in fact, contrived to rob itself of the chance to win the presidency when they couldn't resolve the crisis that emanated from the northwest zone of the party, which prompted Kwankwaso to leave the party and join the NMPP. He didn't have to form the NMPP. One of his candidates to pick a top job, a top position in the PDP from the northwest zone, but the governors opposed that, and in the end, Obi had worked together with Obi's votes added to. Clearly, some mistakes were made, and I will explain how the PDP allowed that. I didn't realize at that time we out of the PDP. Normally, produce the governor. That ex-governor ought to be the leader of the party in the state. That has always been the tradition, not just in PDP, but in the APC. But in the months leading to the presidential election, the PDP removed Peter Obi as the leader of the party. Having listened to the arguments of those who are bent on pulling Obi down, because Obi was interested in the presidency, that it was better to let somebody else have the leadership of the party in Anambra State. And they gave the leadership of the party to Chris Uba. Remember, before the governorship election that Professor Soludo won, Obi was the leader of the party. It was even Obi that produced the candidate of the PDP for that governorship race. But in the months leading to the presidential election, that changed. Ayu, the chairman of the party, was prevailed upon to remove Peter Obi as leader of the party based on the flimsy excuse that he was contesting. He was removed as leader of the party in Anambra State and someone else was put in his place. Obi didn't like this, and he ended up walking away from the party. If Atiku had secured the kind of votes that Obi secured in the Southeast, he would have been president today. So they have seen now that allowing Peter Obi to go was a big mistake. I also think that if Atiku had picked Wike as his running mate, Wike would have done much better than the governor of Delta State that eventually picked. Wike controlled the structures of the party in most of those South states, including states where the PDP did not have a governor. Wike was quite strong in all of those places, and that was why you saw that he performed very well in the presidential primaries of the party. If Tambuwal had not delivered his votes to Atiku at the last minute, Wike would most probably have won that presidential primary of the PDP, given how close he went, despite the fact that one of the four most powerful candidates decided to step down for Atiku Abubakar. Yes, after all this background, let me say at this point that the situation still remains fluid. Atiku's main goal is to wrest control of the PDP from Bala Mohammed, Wike, and a few governors who are firmly in control now. They are the ones who are giving Damagum, Ilya Damagum, the acting chairman of the party, all the support, all the funding that he needs to keep him in control at this stage. Normally, you would expect that the North Central Zone, which is Ayu's zone, will produce the chairmanship, the national chairmanship of the party. And an acting chairman should ordinarily have been in office for just 9 months. But we have seen that these people have kept Damagum in office longer than legally permitted. And they've been making it difficult for a neck meeting to happen, where a big decision will in fact be taken about Damagum's fate. So what they are looking at is the possibility of a Bala Mohammed Makinde ticket for 2027. And people like Wike, they are on the side of Bala Mohammed and Makinde in this matter. Bala Mohammed and Wike may actually be quarreling, may appear to be quarreling in public, but it's all politics. Bala Mohammed is being persuaded that the ticket of the party will go to him, that they are going to back him for the ticket of the party, with the ticket of the party. So they are doing their best to ensure that Atiku Abubakar does not pick the ticket of the party. So in the event that Atiku does not pick the ticket, Atiku may well go into some form of alliance, using another platform, maybe Peter Obi's platform, to realize his ambition. But he is also confident that he can get the ticket. He's always prevailed in situations like this. But the question people are asking is, was the PDP created for Atiku Abubakar alone? How many times will he be the standard bearer of the party in the presidential election? So he has people now who are determined, especially these younger politicians, these young governors, who believe that, look, it is no longer the time of the old guard, that the old guard has to be shunted aside so that younger people can get preeminent position in the party and eventually become the presidential candidate of the party. So Atiku has not given up. He thinks that he will get the ticket of the party, of the PDP, and he's assuring his people that they are going to seize control of the party. He believes that once they can seize control of the party from Damagum, then his presidential ticket is assured. And he believes that once he can get the ticket, he can then approach Peter Obi and convince him to come back to the PDP so that they can run on the same ticket. But the problem associated with this is the young people who have been backing Peter Obi all along, they are not prepared to have it. Is either Peter Obi is the presidential, Peter Obi convince this kind of people to let him run on the same ticket Atiku Abubakar running it. Because they would argue that, look, Atiku should support Peter Obi rather than have Peter Obi drunk in the months leading to 2020. Oh, they not as from doing 8 years. So Atiku he has a lot of work to do, and that's why I said this situation is fluid. If Peter Obi gets all the vibes pointing to the fact that his supporters don't want him to be running mate to anyone, he's not likely to agree to be Atiku's running mate. And he too will be pushing that Atiku should back his candidature. So this situation is still fluid. We are in 2024. It's still 3 years to the election. You know, election is 2027. It's still almost 3 years to the election. So the people, all of these permutations, yes, politicians are very confident, very optimistic people. But you and I know that there are issues. And the opposition is generally weak to muster the capacity to take on the ruling party. It's difficult in a season when the opposition parties are being fragmented. You can see what's happening in the Labour Party now. No, it's already fragmented. The leadership of the party has been disowned by the likes of Governor Oti, the sole governor, the platform of the party. The leadership has been disowned, but the judiciary has insisted that Abure is the leader, is the chairman of the party. Obi and the supporters are not likely to take this. The labor arm of the Labour Party is also not likely to take this, which could eventually lead to the fragmentation and dismemberment of the Labour Party. Where will all of this also leave Peter Obi's ambitions? You know? So these are questions whose answers are blowing in the wind, Brian.
Yeah, you've actually answered a lot of questions in my head, but I understand El-Rufai is also in the mix. Atiku, Peter Obi, and say El-Rufai, come from markedly different political backgrounds. So given the ideological differences and historical rivalries among these leaders, how sustainable is this alliance beyond mere electoral objectives? Because before you answer that, because some Nigerians may view the collaboration as opportunistic rather than transformative. So with that skepticism likely to arise over this alliance being perceived as merely a stop Tinubu movement, how do you think this they can convincingly present themselves as champions of change?
No, these people do not really care. As far as they are concerned, whatever steps can be taken to stop Bola Tinubu from getting a second term, they have to do it. And they are determined. They believe that if they do not come together, Bola Tinubu, no matter how unpopular you think he is, the country will find a way to get a second term. Maybe in the months leading to the election, we'll see some things happening that will sway the minds of our people. No? How many
And the
people
power,
gave him a
power of
chance?
incumbent.
The power of incumbency is there. Here is a man who fought, who clearly did not get the support of the national chairman of his party. He didn't get the full support of the president of the country. The president agreed to take part in 10 of Tinubu's campaigns. And those states that he will go to were listed. Ultimately, a number of those states. But the point that the people, voters were worried, they were worried that that happened, you know. So, but the cabinet of the president at that time, Buhari, was divided. More than half of them chose to support a different person, but he still managed to win. So with power in his hands, you and I know that it would take some stopping. And I'm sure Atiku is experienced enough to know this. He's been contesting, he's been seeking to be president since 1992. He is our own modern day Abraham Lincoln. He thinks that no matter how long it takes, he will be president of Nigeria someday. Age is time is running out on him, but he's convinced that somehow he will get there. So, and he has opposition in the PDP, he has opposition on the ruling party, but he thinks that he can look themselves in the face and say, gentlemen, let's put our differences aside. Let's do our best to ensure that Bola Tinubu does not get a second term. There is a big determination on their part to ensure that Tinubu does not get a second term. So I know that whatever deal Atiku can cut, he will cut that deal just to ensure that Tinubu does not get a second term. So let's put ideology aside. Ideology is not a preeminent issue in Nigerian politics. Ideology gets thrown out of the window in Nigerian politics. You see,
Absolutely.
people the APC likes to call itself, APC members like to call themselves progressives, but there are ultra conservatives among even the leading lights of the APC. So I don't buy that that notion that the APC is actually a progressive party. Its ranks is thoroughly diluted with people who are bare-faced conservatives. So there is no Nigerian party that you can actually hold it up as a party founded on the basis of ideology. All kinds of people join the party. So
absolutely,
it's an Iruwa Ogiriwa, as the Yorubas will say. It's not. This has nothing to do with ideology at all.
All right. So let me take some comments, and I'll start with our member who is a subscriber to TVC News, especially Issues with Jide. That's why it's always good to subscribe. So I'll take his comment first. Oluwasegun Akingbemi Akinferegbe. I'm sorry if I didn't get that correctly. He's a member 2 months, who was subscribed for 2 months now. So he said combination of failures equals to woeful failure. You have no mercy at all in your analysis. Olukayode, it will be like power. Therefore, both of them cannot work together. Oluwasegun Akingbemi. Okay, I think I've already read that. TG Associate says, BKO, will PDP zone the ticket to the north in 2027? He will answer that when I take the rest of the comments. Nelson Adufe, a regular contributor. Nelson, it's very important that you also subscribe. Atiku, Obi lost their chance immediately. They greedily split from working together. PDP, like few other parties, failed to be tough opposition due to greed for power and overambition with empty campaign strategy. Please always write, not in shorthand, always write properly so that it will be easier for me to read. Promise Emmanuel says, Babajide is an expert on explaining issues bordering on Nigeria. God bless you and keep you healthy. We say amen to that. Oporia Elvis says, Atiku has faith like Buhari, who contested many times. And this says, Oluwaseyi or Jeremy says, if Ashwaju will not get second term, will power then shift to the north come 2027? So, yes, I would like you to answer these in light of vis-a-vis the question of TG Associates, who says, BKO will PDP zone the ticket to the north in 2027? And Oluwaseyi also asking similar question, saying that it will power shift to the north in 2027 if Ashwaju will not get second term. These are funny questions, interesting questions, I should say, rather. PKO.
Yeah. No, it's a very easy question to ask whether PDP will zone the presidency to a region. They are not going to zone to any region. People will be free to contest. You can see that even the APC, people contested from the south, people contested from the north. Aspirants came from the north, contested. It was on the night of the presidential primary that we now saw some of the aspirants stepping down and all that. But even in spite of that, we saw that the then Senate president, whom Asiwaju had helped his political career in many ways, he decided to contest against Asiwaju. So there was nothing like, oh, power being zoned to the north, therefore nobody should contest against the leading candidate from the south. I can predict that in 2026, when the primary election of the PDP will be held, there will be no encumbrance. People will contest from the north and from the south. It then depends on how Atiku is able to play his politics. Right now, he's finding it extremely difficult to take control of the party. And Atiku is not as buoyant as he used to be. If you want to take control of the party, you must be ready to spend money. And it's a long time between now and 2020 and the last quarter of 2026. So he's not aggressively funding or oiling the structures of the party at the national level. The people who are oiling the structures of the party, they are the ones funding the party and making Ilya Damagun so strong and difficult to remove from his position as acting chairman. So if Atiku can get more governors, for example, I know that the governor of Bayelsa, for example, does not support the Bala Mohammed Makinde group. I know that the governor of Osun also does not support them. It's not on their side. I know that the Zamfara governor does not also support them. And of course, the governor of Delta State. What we don't know is whether these governors will be ready to back Atiku. If they are ready to back Atiku, then Atiku may get the ticket of the party once again. But unfortunately, when you look at the way the PDP is currently, the chairman of the Governors Forum is Bala Mohammed. The Governors Forum is very powerful within the scheme of things. The chairman of the party, the acting chairman, belongs to the Wike Makinde Bala Mohammed group. And as I said earlier, they're already touting Bala Mohammed as presidential candidate of the party, with Makinde being his running mate. They're already working on that possibility. So these people would do their best to make sure that Atiku does not get the ticket
That's right.
of the party.
That's
And
right.
if he does not get the ticket of the party, he may then try to use Peter Obi as as his last joker, which would then mean that he will go and seek his ambition, seek the actualization of his ambition in a different political platform. That is where,
Oh,
and I don't know, even now we do not know whether Peter Obi will contest on the platform of the Labour Party, given the crisis in the party. You know, so it's a very fluid situation, and I can tell you, in a year's time, a lot of things will change. Political strategy uh, changes from time to time. What worked for you in 2023 may not work in 2027.
that's right.
And
That's right. Your option must
there is
adjust
no
accordingly.
guarantee, there is no guarantee that the Labour Party will be as strong as it was in 2027 because the circumstances have changed. The political landscape has changed.
That's right. That's
So,
right.
uh, but it's a good thing that they are coming together, and I can only wish them um, good luck. But I know that the opposition will do its best to ensure that Tinubu doesn't get a second term, and
Right.
they are confident that Nigerians will support them in denying the president a second time.
All right. So, but then violence, I said, you guys should always be right. I always be sending your comments with your viewing names. But he says Tinubu is for second term. He's already campaigning for the president. TLC Toke says, good evening, Uncle Jide. How did I copy that? Mike says, we need electoral reform. Ilemona John says, what a pop one so. All right. Oluwashe Jeremy says, politics is deceitful, but I don't see Wike supporting Bala from the north. His best game is to get Shea Makinde in the ring. But then, what seems to be like my final question because of our time here, forming a new political platform or revitalizing an existing one can be, fraught with challenges. I also saw Shegun Showme, the former Atiku spokesperson. Is this Shegun Showme? I can't exactly remember his name because I tend
Yes,
to
yes,
mix his name.
yes. That's his name.
Shegun
That's his name.
Yeah, so he's saying that I saw him on the news yesterday night, talking about the alternative. I think something like having the alternative, maybe a name of a political party or a party is, pushing to the fore. But I'm wondering about what you think are the key logistical and leadership challenges these alliance might face in forming a new party or choosing a candidate, especially given past tensions.
Forming a new party is extremely difficult. Um, if the desire is to take power, it's better to have political parties come together, especially against an opposition that is against a ruling party that is determined to keep power. You have to find a way to come together. That was what the APC did. We saw different political tendencies coming together. ABGA, AMPP, ACN, and some elements from the PDP, led by Bukola Saraki, who called themselves the NPDP, the new PDP. In spite of that, Buhari was only able to defeat Goodluck Jonathan with 4 percentage points. That's 52-48. It was a very close presidential election. Despite the gang up against the ruling party, Buhari was only able to win by 4 percentage points. So, if anyone thinks that going to form a new party could help it to take power in Nigeria, that person needs to re-examine his strategy, because that is not going to work. It's not going to work. The best bet is for the existing parties to come together, form a durable alliance, an alliance that can stand the test of time, which will enable them to take power. It's not easy to dislodge a ruling party. It's not easy at all. So the best bet is for them to come together, instruct their supporters, to vote for a particular candidate. But forming a new party would not solve the problem. Forming a new party would not guarantee victory. It takes time to nurture it.
Interesting. All right, so let me take just about the last comment. We have Godwin James saying Jide who will vote APC, and Olukayode Ayodele responding said, "What many Nigerians will vote for APC?" And justified says President Tinubu should try and solve the problem of hunger and naira devaluation to convince the masses of having their trust for 2027. Do you think he actually made a very cogent point there? Very quickly, if you can do that.
Yes, yes, that's a very valid suggestion. The president has to do his best to ease the pains of Nigerians. Otherwise, Nigerians will speak with their votes. It's something that the president needs to do. I expect that in the months before the election, we'll begin to see the fruits of the reforms of the president. Nigerians are very impatient, and some of them are not prepared to wait for these reforms to begin to bear fruits. So the president must take steps to ease the pain of the people and get his message across to the Nigerian people. They must see that indeed it means well, and their communication to the Nigerian people has to improve. That is the guarantee of a good showing for the president. 2027 election, but 2027 is a long time. Even 24 hours is a long time in politics. And I've seen somebody who looked like winning an election 48 hours to the election and he didn't win it. So I believe that we still have time for the parties to sort themselves out and for the ruling party to sort itself out and address frontally the concerns of Nigerians. Because you go back to those Nigerians to ask for their votes. And how do you then ensure that they give you their votes? It is by taking steps that ease the pains of the Nigerian people. There's no other way. There's no other way. And people are not so sophisticated enough to understand that some of these steps are the best for our country. So we have to take some decisive steps to ease the pains of Nigerian people. It's as simple as that.
That's right. I guess that's the reason why Olukayode says that the interest of President Tinubu is the prosperity of Nigeria and not necessarily a second term. The reason for taking both decisions, which the Hawks are not comfortable with. I guess he didn't finish his comment, but your point is made anyway. But BKO, because of our time, that's our show for today's edition of Issues with Jide. Special thanks to you, Babajide, Kolade-Otitoju, for those insightful analyses as always.
Thank you, Ibrahim. I say a big thank you to our viewers for their loyalty. We'll continue to give our best, continue to be here to talk about our country. It is our desire that our country gets better because we all deserve a country that works.
And thank you, just as BKO said, thank you our audience for keeping our company on every edition. You can see the program again anytime by subscribing to our YouTube channel, TVC News Nigeria. Click on the subscribe button to get the latest information. You can also follow us on our social media platforms at TVC News NG. I'm also at Ibrahim_Shita. On behalf of the rest of the team, I'm Ibrahim Shita. See you again next edition. Bye for now.